Over the course of automotive history, many different dealer training videos have been made by quite a few different companies. But what you're about to see here today is, I think, the strangest, trippiest, I don't know what you'd call it, dealer training video that I have ever seen in my entire life. And that is not an exaggeration. And this dealer training video is for the 1971 Pontiacs. Now, for whatever reason, before talking about all the features of the 1971 Pontiacs, including a number of cool things like the introduction of the 1971 Grandville and how the wheelbase on the new full-size Pontiacs was stretched versus the old cars, how they're quieter, how they allegedly ride better, etc., the ad agency or Pontiac decided to put in this acid, trippy, strange storyline that employs cartoons to describe, I guess, why Pontiac was making the changes that it was. In fact, I don't even know why they put it at the front end. It's really ridiculous. But you just have to experience it to see what I mean. And put a comment in the comment section. Beyond that, this video is actually over an hour long. I just put the first part of it that talks about some of the key new features of the 71 Pontiacs, a little bit about the new Grandville, a little bit about the performance, and some about the design. So you can see Bill Porter and John Shetler, the exterior and interior chief designers. You also see Steve Malone, who is Pontiac's chief engineer, as well as Bill Collins, who is Pontiac's assistant chief engineer. Interestingly, Bill Collins would later be recruited by John DeLorean to be the first engineer on the DeLorean, and he also worked on the Vixen motorhome, among other things. Bill recently passed away, by the way, unfortunately. In any case, take a look at this dealer training video for the 71 Pontiacs and put a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think. I don't know what the ad agency was on when they dreamed this one up. Here we go.
Once upon a time, in the fabled land of opportunity, there dwelled a band of cunning traders. Now these traders were truly exceptional, for they traded not in fine silks, oils, or spices, but in that most elusive commodity of all. They traded in dreams. Dreams of romance. Dreams of power. And dreams of adventure. And they call these dreams Pontiacs. Now it came to pass that people came from miles around to trade for these Pontiacs. The young and adventurous came. Pontiacs. And the old and wise. Pontiacs. They came, and they came, and they came in such profuse numbers that the traders of these Pontiacs became known far and wide as the wearers of a mystic symbol. A mystic symbol that signified that they had attained an exalted place in the world of merchants. The cunning traders bore upon their friendly countenances the look of success. They smiled upon their customers and bade them come again and again to trade in their old dreams on new ones. And the traders waxed more and more prosperous. God. Their dwelling places became magnificent beyond belief, for they lived not in tents, but in palaces of stone and steel. These were surpassed only by the grandeur of the temples in which they worked. And they worked hard. But all work and no play is not a good thing. So they played as hard as they worked. Their playthings were wondrous to behold. They had about them the warmth and light and music that success brings with it. And there was joy in their tribe. Oh, but there was a fly in the frame. like incense. Other, less wily traders became jealous of the sellers of Pontiacs and longed to possess the mystic symbol. They appealed to their wizards, and their wizards, likewise feeling pangs of jealousy, used all the powers at their command and created dreams of elegance, luxury, and prestige to help them steal away the mystic symbol. And the sounds of their success encroached upon the happy Pontiac traders, and the Pontiac traders became worried. They appealed to their builders of dreams to strike back and build dreams of such grandeur that forevermore the Pontiac traders would have no equal in the land. Lo and behold, the wizards at Pontiac heard their plea. They gathered the most brilliant designers from the ends of the earth. The finest materials from across the 7 seas. And they schemed and plotted and invented until, wonder of wonders, they had created a line of dreams more spacious and more magnificent than any they had ever made in all history. But words alone cannot tell of these wonders they have performed. The dream itself must be beheld. That dream is here now to see, to enjoy, to be marveled at. Behold the 1971 Pontiac Grandville. It's a dream.
In the development of a new model, exterior and interior stylists work very closely to achieve a total effect. Bill Porter, who styles the exterior, and John Shetler, responsible for interiors, recognized this goal for 1971 and have designed the kind of product you've been asking for. There has been a whole lot more emphasis on interiors for the 71 product. They're with it. And the full-size Pontiacs this year are completely new cars. That's the only way to say it. All new. You can see here in the Catalina that there's an entirely new theme. In the front, there's a new split-center theme for an unmistakable Pontiac look. The wide horizontal grille is below the dual headlamps, and the new bumper is one piece, no valance panel. The total glass area is greatly increased, an improvement in appearance and visibility. Flush-mounted glass, plus a lot more tumble home and turn under for the body sheet metal. It gives the car a smooth, rounded look for a family resemblance throughout the line. The rear features split horizontal tail lamps for a new look. You can be proud of the way Pontiacs look. Even more important, they will have great appeal to your customers. The styling is fresh, imaginative, different, and the quality of the trim has been raised this year. The overall effect is a much richer interior. If there's one single feature that really catches your eye, it's the instrument panel. It's big, has a lot of the Grand Prix cockpit look. The long horizontal look has given way to round instrument clusters, big and bold and different. The overall feel is one of function, modern sculpture, in keeping with exterior styling. For the prospect who wants even more luxury, there's the new Catalina Brougham series. It offers a lot of extra styling features, such as specific exterior molding. And on the inside, you get the Bonneville interior. This is rich looking, with a custom cushioned steering wheel and Castilian leather trim plate. A lot of thought and a lot of money have gone into Catalina Brougham interiors. They'll pay off. Let's look at the new design theme for Bonneville. The car has that long hood, short deck look, the look that appeals to your prospects. Here's the story. Up until this year, the Catalina has always been stretched into a Bonneville by increasing wheelbase just forward of the rear wheels and adding length in the deck lid. This year, the increase in wheelbase is just forward of the front wheels, and the added length is in the hood. This increased wheelbase means more interior room. When you tell a prospect the Bonneville is bigger than Catalina, he can see the difference in that big hood out in front of him and feel the difference in comfort when he sits in that roomy interior. Anybody that sees the car knows it's a 1971 model because it's all new. Add the distinctive grille, and the car looks a lot richer and bigger than Catalina. And is. It's right for that particular group of buyers who want to step up. The Safari and Grand Safari station wagons for this year are the roomiest wagons ever, 227 inches. The rear doors are 4 inches wider than on other 4-door models for easy access to both second and third seats. The third seat is forward-facing, something wagon prospects go for. And there's more headroom and legroom than ever. You know, it's rather difficult to make a station wagon look new and different. But the glide-away disappearing tailgate offered a chance for fresh styling this year. The side glass wraps up toward the roof and around the rear. And the step-up in the roof adds to the new look also. The Grand Safari provides the big, rich wagon that will satisfy any wagon prospect. There's something new for the wood grain side paneling, too. It picks up the body color of the car very faintly for a pleasing look, a more compatible feel. It's something you can point out to a prospect. Wagons are completely different from other models in styling and engineering, and the market for them is different also. The Pontiac lineup, both intermediates and full size, recognizes this difference and is aimed at satisfying the specialized demand. This is a 1970 Le Mans, as you can see.
Firebird for 1971 is in an enviable position. The 70s styling has been extremely well accepted by the public, and the changes we've made this year will make the car even more attractive. It's definitely a 1971 model, and I feel sure that sales will continue to increase throughout the model year.
Interiors are all new. New cloths, colors, and patterns, with new smart-looking high-back bucket seats. Standard door panels now have a full-length molded plastic armrest with a padded vinyl insert. The custom trim includes rear seat ashtrays, and there's a new optional rear console with ashtray and belt buckle storage packets. There's a lot of action in the small personal car market today, and Firebird is gaining a bigger share of the market every month. Now, let's move on to the exciting Grand Prix. It will be received by the public as a completely new car. As you know, Grand Prix pioneered the long hood short deck style that has become so popular. It was also the first car to suggest a hint of the classic cars of the 1930s. The radiator grille is reminiscent of the Duesenberg. Single headlamps, bumpers that eliminate the need for valence panels. and pronounced sculptured fenders to complement the long hood. This year, the classic theme is complete in a way that makes the car look like as new and different as a new series introduction. The rear end has been completely restyled to make it more consistent with the classic theme of the car. Give it a boat tail look. Here, too, the product has been tailored to a specific segment of the market. People who want something distinctive, something in the classic tradition, a unique car. This year, they have it. That brings us to Grandville, the most exciting car from Pontiac in many years. It's a car that will allow you to go after a totally new market, the buyer who's interested in a true luxury car. Management decided that if the stylist could design a new luxury car with a more formal roofline and more interior roominess, and still retain the long hood short deck look, Pontiac would have a unique, beautiful car. They tried it, and it worked. The styling concept gives the car a great look. From the front, it's a totally new car. The long hood and short deck combine with a formal, elegant roofline for a slightly rakish appearance, and you get the best of both worlds. From the rear, it's a brand new car. There's as much interior room as you'll find in any true luxury car on the market. And the interior trim, particularly in the custom option, is as rich as any American car on the road. The interior is coordinated with the exterior, the same shapes and lines repeated. For example, the exterior has a bold, forceful look. The instruments are contained in big, bold clusters. And there's a definite cockpit look, much like Grand Prix. From anywhere you look at it, you know this is a new model. And you know it's for the buyer who wants the very best in automotive styling. Grandville will reestablish Pontiac as the leader in a luxury car market that has shifted toward more expensive models over the past few years. In doing so, it will lend prestige and leadership to the complete Pontiac line, help set a trend to Pontiac. Grandville, pure Pontiac and pure good news. But styling is only half the good news. Engineering for 1971 is every bit as outstanding. Here's the story from Pontiac's chief engineer, Steve Malone, and Bill Collins, the assistant chief engineer.
When you go down to 9.3 on the Super Duty, that really goes. That's a good job.
Sure does.
Air pollution has become a major issue, and we have found ourselves becoming increasingly involved. It has been a challenge to produce an engine with less pollutants and at the same time maintain performance. We've been able to do just that for 1971. Through extensive design studies, we found we could go to regular fuel engines and maintain Pontiac's traditional performance. Acceleration tests on our 1971 engines compared to our 1970 power plants bear this out. The 71s have the same get up and go as last year's engine. This particular engine, the 455 HO, will really move out.
It's our hottest engine for 71, available for the first time on Firebird and the Le Mans. Many of the intake and exhaust components come from the Ram Air 4 engine. The performance is better than our last year's 455 engine.
You know, prospects are interested in a lot of other things in addition to performance. Economy, for example. We set out to make these new engines more economical, and we did it. We've run very carefully controlled tests to measure the amounts of gas used. And on each engine, we maintain good gas economy on regular fuel. Now we all know that miles per gallon will differ from driver to driver. But under any given equal set of conditions, the new engines do deliver excellent mileage on regular gas. When you consider the lower cost of regular gas, there is an improvement in operating costs per mile. There's another plus to using regular gas, a very important plus in today's pollution-conscious climate. Unleaded gas leaves less pollutants behind. We weren't ordered to go this route by the government. We did this on our own on a voluntary basis.
We've done another thing this year regarding pollution, also on our own. The evaporative emission system used on the 1970 California cars is now standard on all Pontiacs. Here's how it works. When a car is parked, engine heat evaporates a small amount of fuel from the carburetor bowl, and a hot atmosphere does the same to the fuel tank. Vapors are channeled into this canister and absorbed by the charcoal. Then, when the engine is running, the vapors are sucked back out of the canister, through the carburetor, and into the engine where they are burned. It's a story a prospect can understand and appreciate.
Let's consider the GTO specifically for a moment. In my opinion, the public still really doesn't know just how great the Endura bumper is, and there's still nothing quite like it around. We've run test after test. Thought you might be interested in seeing the results. You see, no damage. And that's the way it comes out every time. There's just no comparison. It's the toughest bumper around and the best looking. That's the reason we're making it an option on the Le Mans Sport.
Here's another engineering feature that was an industry first on the 1968 Grand Prix, the self-regulating integrated circuit alternator. This year it will be on every model. What does it mean to an owner? It's maintenance-free, and there's less voltage variation, increased battery and bulb life.
Okay, here's another Pontiac first, an industry exclusive for 1971. The Delco X maintenance-free battery. No water addition for life of the battery. Considerably more power when compared to a conventional battery of the same size. Higher performance throughout its life and less tendency to discharge when left unused for long periods. This has been achieved by a breakthrough in plate chemistry. No question about it. A lot of these engineering advances are good sales points. Now you've already seen the styling highlights of the line, but I'd like to show you how some of these features are also very functional. First of all, Pontiac's pronounced turn under makes it easier to get in and out of the car. There's more travel in the front seat and more headroom in the back seat, and more rear seat legroom, all a result of the increased wheelbase and the use of the new formal roof on Grandville. The ashtray is where it should be for driver use, and the instrument panel not only looks good, it is easily serviced in the same manner introduced on the Firebird. Any bulb can be changed in less than a minute, and separate ground straps have been eliminated from instruments, so they can also be easily removed from the face of the panel. Same story with the radio. It's going to make owners happy because service will take less time.
Here's another thing that will make owners happy. Increased room in the wagons. The kick-up in the roof not only looks good style-wise, but gives more headroom. And the increased length allows more comfort for the third seat passenger. Remember, that third seat is forward-facing in answer to customer preference. Now be sure and get your wagon prospect out for a drive, because there's a new, great handling story to be told. It's a new leaf suspension, as opposed to the coil springs used up until now. The leaf springs have a higher resistance to side motion, and so make the wagon handle better. To give you an idea of the better handling, we installed an accelerometer with a readout meter on a 1970 wagon with the coil springs. As you can see, there is a side sway. Then we put the same device in a 1971 Safari and drove the wagon over the same course at the same speed. You can see that there's a definite improvement for 1971.
Of course, the most obvious, and therefore one of the best sales features, is the new disappearing tailgate, Glide Away. This is a new concept and should prove extremely interesting to prospects. It's one of those things that can be easily demonstrated. Seems to lend an air of advanced design to the whole vehicle. This brings us to one of the most outstanding engineering improvements on the 71 product, and one of the most difficult features to show or demonstrate, Pontiac Ride and Quietness. Let me urge you to drive the cars, because you will then know through personal experience that the new Pontiacs, especially the Grandville, are far superior to the 70 product and to 71 competition. So far as quietness goes, we've made several changes that add up to a significant improvement. Body mounts are softer. There's a more effective weather strip design around the window. The exhaust pipes are laminated for better sound suppression. And there are fewer body openings, so less chance of improper sealing during production. The result is quietness that can be measured. We installed some very complex and sensitive sound recording equipment in a Grandville, then drove it through various traffic conditions. We did the same thing with a 70 Bonneville, drove it over the exact same routes. Here are the results as they showed up electronically. You will note that the Grandville is significantly quieter than the 70 Bonneville. Believe me, you can hear that difference.
1970 Bonneville, 35 miles per hour. 1971 Grandville, 35 miles per hour.
They're quiet cars, and you can prove it with a demonstration drive.
It's the same with ride. You can definitely feel how soft and comfortable the car rides, but it's difficult to demonstrate. We did come up with a device for measuring ride, though, and I think you'll be impressed with the results. We used a vibrating reed tachometer to sense the motion of the test cars as they were driven. We installed the device in a Grandville and a 1970 Bonneville, both driven over exactly the same courses, at exactly the same speeds by the same driver. The results definitely showed Grandville's superiority. The Grandville not only shows less abrupt changes in ride, but a smaller frequency of change. There is no question that Catalina through Grandville, the 1971 Pontiacs offer the smoothest, quietest automobiles we have ever produced. In this area, we'll be way ahead of the competition. Still, for ride and quietness, the only true measure is to get in the car and drive it.
Give it a try. You'll be as impressed as we are.
Pure Pontiac. Short, memorable. It says everything we want to say about Pontiac, quickly, effectively. And it's so strong, it'll be used in everything we do for the entire model year.